Barcelona new star, Chutian's legendary rise begins. Episode 181, Chutian is under siege. Key Mr. Iniesta. During this time, Real Madrid have been holding high pressure on Barca's midfield. Modric's running covers a very large area. He was too strong and completely killed Barca's pass. Zidane gave new instructions. Are there any new tactical changes for Real Madrid? Chutian and Wei, watching the Real Madrid players on the field retreat, also wondered. Obviously, under the high pressure of Real Madrid, Barca's midfielders began to make mistakes, and they were almost unable to support it. Haha. Zidane began to micro again. After playing so many headwinds, Zidane is not sober. Ha 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 ha. You see the unwilling expression on Modric's face? No? Don't go dark. Zidane led the team to a good result. His tactical changes at every step. There are reasons. The IQ of Real Madrid players. Not yet, can understand his tactics. Under the three-guard system, Chutian is in the number 4 position, and Barca's pass control is not afraid of everything. This 4-guard lineup, a little hard. Zidane let the Real Madrid players withdraw. The pressure on Barca's players has plummeted. Chutian controlled the rhythm. He immediately sped up Barca's pass. Football passes quickly between red and blue jerseys. The retreating Real Madrid players began to panic. Only Modric, still tirelessly pushing back and forth. However, he alone cannot stop Barca's passing. Barca's push is very fast, dazzlingly deliver fits. It's overwhelming. On both sides of the stands, there was a burst of exclamations. Chutian was in the heart of Real Madrid and received a long-distance pass from Ayuba. Modric immediately stepped forward to intercept. Two people in the perspective of God. The players on both sides kept changing positions back and forth, but tightly overlapped. Football has no room to pass forward. If Chutian chooses to send back, that would slow down Barca's attacking rhythm. It's now. Modric made a choice. He shook his body toward the football and stuck out his right foot. Decisive, clean. The timing is precise. Meanwhile, Chutian's pace began to change. The outer instep of the right foot will take the ball once. Left foot inside the foot to wipe the ball acceleration. Got over Modric. The audience roared in surprise. Dream dance steps. It was incredible. Modric and Chutian unknown. Again in the ascendant. Modric was sluggish for 2 seconds. Back now. Command your teammates not to mess around. In God's perspective, the originally panicked Real Madrid backline quickly stabilized. The defensive system Mourinho created for Real Madrid 5 years ago is most fully reflected in the strong personal ability of Real Madrid players. Chutian continues to advance. Go deeper. Still can't find any passing space. Pepe rushed up. Fierce expression. In front of the big forbidden area. Trying to stop the pace of the Yenwa teenagers, Chutian's pace was getting faster and faster. Speed down. Speed. The left foot falls to the ground continuously. Chutian's footsteps. It's like dancing on the line of the Real Madrid grand zone. Pepe tried to keep herself up with the changes in Chutian's rhythm. Suddenly, Chutian's foot touched the ball slowly. It's now. Pepe has no hesitation. Falling to the ground, flying shovel. Chutian's shoulder sank. The outer instep of the right foot will take the ball once. Left foot inside the foot to wipe the ball acceleration. Past Pepe again. Wonderful. Chutian's dream dance steps have reached the point of pure fire. Pepe with strong single defensibility. There is no way to do it. Everyone's faces showed a look of disbelief. Pepe was furious. He immediately got up and chased back. Chutian had already entered the forbidden area. Pepe hesitated, and reason told him that he already had a yellow card on him. Ramos and Casemiro immediately defended themselves. Wonderful. Chutian has already turned the Real Madrid backline upside down, pushed to the bottom line. Nothing chances. Chutian is going to lose this ball. However, there has been no good way out of the ball. The side of the court. Enrique helplessly covered his head. He thought Chutian could properly pass it back. This kind of attack makes no sense. Wench's eyes were full of anticipation, as Barca's goalkeeper coach found that Real Madrid's restricted area began to chaos. The other side. Zidane smiled and said to Batoni next to him, I'm right, Barca's attack doesn't mean at all. Modric should not let the players press forward. This is too exhausting for the players' physical strength. We have the second leg of the Champions League semi-final behind us. We should play again in the second half. Batoni nodded, deep inside. Modric wants to win this game. Although Zidane is very good at tactical level, he can take into account the comprehensive factors very comprehensively. With the change of position of Ramos and Casemiro, Real Madrid's backline, there is a flaw. Chutian, who was forced to the bottom line, lit up a passing line in his field of vision. All the fans only feel that there is chaos in the Real Madrid penalty area at this moment. Ramos and Casemiro poke the ball closely. Chutian continuously stepped on the ball and moved lightly, avoiding them one by one. The small-scale ball control technology is vividly reflected. In the chaos, the soccer ball suddenly rolled out of the crowd. Oops. Real Madrid is in danger. The ball was passed out. Chutian is under this interference. You can still pass this inverted triangle back. The ball rolls to the left side of the penalty area. There was an uproar. Can this also be passed on? Meanwhile, Nero took Marcelo away. Messi took Carvajal away. Suarez took Cross away. Left side of the penalty area with a large arc top, about 10 square meters of area, empty. The ball crossed the gap between Real Madrid defenders. Here we are. Both players immediately rushed over. Too late to tell. A diminutive red and blue figure. A little bit of help. Heading for football. Didn't make too many adjustments. Swing your legs. One kick and one kick. Football with a violent whirlwind. Roaring towards the Real Madrid goal. Enrique's eyes widened. Zidane looked horrified. The same idea came out of their hearts. How did Chutian pass this ball out? It's Iniesta. The unguarded Iniesta suddenly stepped forward. Keep the ball at the top of the arc in the penalty area. The soccer ball slammed into the top left corner of the Real Madrid goal. Chutian and Hue spoke extremely fast. Nava swoops in. Accurate direction judgment. It's just a pity. La Liga gold gloves. Almost got to the ball. The football has exploded into a dead corner. 2-1. Beautiful. Long-range shooting straight to the dead end. Sir. Iniesta. Breaking the balance on the field again. The 16th minute of the game. Chutian had already made a second move. He created this great opportunity for Iniesta, both attacking players and goalkeepers. The performance was so good. Just shoot right. There are goals. The tone of this national derby. It's a confrontation. Look for possibilities in the impossible. We can only replay from slow motion. Only to see how Chutian created this assist. CTV5 Live Room. The big screen plays back the goal in slow motion. Chutian was at the bottom line of the Real Madrid penalty area, facing the close pressing of Ramos and Casemiro. He pulls and pulls. Avoided the feet of the other two. Before Pepe arrived, arch your right foot and push the ball out. Dig the grooves. It's too fast. I think the main reason is that Ramos and Casemiro are afraid of fouls. If I were Chutian, I just dived and fell to the ground. So Messi. Can the referee see clearly? Goal war. Confrontation. It's just. Who defends who is the grandson? Zidane, MMP. Iniesta has finally scored. The impact of the injury on him was too great. I still remember his desperation in the 2010 World Cup final. Sir. At the beginning, everyone still called him Xavi, and in the blink of an eye, he became old white. I heard that Iniesta is leaving Barca too. Habibu finally has one cloth left. Side. Enrique pulled Vincu along, frantically celebrating. I knew that Chutian was too imaginative. He was able to pass the ball from that position. The other side. Zidane frowned and seemed to be hesitating about something. Thoughtful. Tony whispered, Coach, the Copa del Rey is also important. This is the first closest trophy since you took charge of Real Madrid. Zidane looked back and forgot to glance at the silver trophy on the sidelines of the middle circle. Shine in the spotlight. Like a cup. More like a crown. Modric. Zidane shouted the midfield core to his side and whispered a few words. Modric nodded. Both sides began to feel relieved. Raise your hand and shake it back. Copa del Rey. It should be up to Real Madrid to welcome back to the Bernabeu again. Episode 182. Flat Ground Thunder. Bell ride the clouds. FC Bayern Munich. Guardiola crossed his hands across his chest and watched with relishing the live broadcast of the Copa del Rey. Bayern have locked up the Bundesliga title ahead of schedule. The Chariot Cup has also been pocketed. All that's left is the Champions League trophy. Real Madrid and Barca on the big screen are likely to be Bayern's last two opponents on the Champions League road. The assistant coach wondered, Coach, I can't see any tactical changes in the manager of Real Madrid and Barca in the game scene. Barca's tactical system is still the same old one you left behind. Real Madrid's tactical system may even go back 5 years to Mourinho 5 years ago and Ancelotti 2 years ago. Pep Guardiola thought for a moment and explained, Enrique and Zidane are better at helping the team through off-field factors. Real Madrid and Barca's players are already very strong, especially after having Chutian and Modric. These two talented players are natural commanders, and all the on-the-spot instructions of the coach will only affect the normal offensive and defensive conversion of the team. The assistant coach then asked, Coach, who do you think will win? Guardiola smiled and shook his head. I don't know, let's quietly enjoy this top-level showdown. Calderon Stadium. The Barca fans in the stands cheered warmly. They hold up red and blue banners. There is also a red and blue letter sign, spelled out the word Viva Barca. After greeting the Barca fans in the stands, Iniesta patted Chutian on the shoulder. The Barca players didn't have much to celebrate. It's still early in the game. Real Madrid now is much stronger than at the beginning of the season. The race reopened in circles. The morale of the Real Madrid players has not been in any way. Benzema kickoff, pass back to Modric. Real Madrid immediately launched a fierce attack. Crazy forward pressure. The football is after a few simple forward passes. Cruz received the ball, facing the high-speed approaching Alves, directly give the ball to the retreating Benzema in the 2016 season. Because of the presence of Ronaldo, the role in the Real Madrid team is not a terminator, more like an organizer on the front. In God's perspective, Chutian found that the Real Madrid midfield formation gradually became a constantly changing Rubik's Cube, like a diamond-shaped crystal. It is the four midfielders system left by Ancelotti. The strongest offensive state, Bale and Ronaldo, cross the position. Real Madrid's attack at this time. Fast as the wind, Benzema gives the ball to Bale. This moment, Real Madrid's speed of propulsion has been increased to the extreme, leveling the ground and thundering. The great sage has begun to soar through the clouds. The position is advancing. Bale even has the speed, it's so fierce. This is not a long-distance attack and a counterattack. He doesn't even have much running distance. Carvajal didn't bother to plug in the back. How much trust is placed in Bale's abilities? Bale is pushing at high speed with the ball. The director's footage also moves at high speed with the lines of the football. Alba and Peak, a card slot. A flying shovel. Try to stop Bale. Bale's speed did not slow down. The next moment, everyone let out exclamations. Bale pushes the ball into the gap between the two. Keep up, straight through the middle of Alba and Peak. 3 seconds later, he caught the ball. Keep running at high speed. Kill to the Barca penalty area. The Carmelian Stadium, in this wonderful moment, erupted into thunderous applause. Exaggerated speed, between 2 points. Bale the shortest, he passed the ball to himself 3 seconds later. It's so unreasonable. The most invulnerable man in the world has scored the ball. How can this be prevented? He ate 2 people raw at once. That's great. No injuries to Bale. Hanging fried day, the strongest on the surfacino slowing down. If you don't foul up, you can't hold on. The most visually striking superstar in the rush, it turns out. Barca even put on a normal 433. Can't stop Bale. Alba and Peak looked back. Find yourself completely left behind by Bale. Bale kills into the penalty area. The speed did not slow down by half a minute. Busquets slot. Bale left foot trip. The whole person is wiped horizontally. Got over Busquets. There is no trick to this. A tough way to excel by speed alone. It's overbearing. Bale can knock on the door. Barca penalty area. It's a mess. All Barca players. They all rushed to the Bale position on the left side of the penalty area. Barca goalkeeper Bravo did not make a defensive gesture. Chose to strike. On the other side, Ronaldo is raising his hand. Calling for a Bale pass. The eyes of the audience, at this moment, are focused on Bale. Bale stomped the ball. Across dial. Avoid Bravo's flapping. Forthwith. Bale crossed the Barca goalkeeper. Face the empty door. Call. Arrived in Mascherano first. Bring down Bale. Kick the ball out of the bottom line. Beep. The referee blew the whistle. Point to the 12. Penalty. It's a penalty. Let's see slow motion replay. No problem. This penalty is not controversial. Mascherano has no way. Throw the whole person out, stopping Bale's inevitable stab. It's too dangerous. Bale got up and smiled and pulled up Mascherano. The little caddy at the Carmelian Stadium immediately threw the football to him from outside the field. The players on both sides didn't argue much with the referee. This penalty, nothing was wrong. Who will Real Madrid take the penalty? It should be Ronaldo, right? Bravo is the goalkeeper with the highest chance of success in the top 5 leagues and national teams today. It's a direct conversation between the Real Madrid striker and the Barca goalkeeper. Bravo saved so many South American striker penalties at the Copa America. Must be no problem. A penalty in regular time is a capital punishment for a goalkeeper. Don't punish and lose. I have millions of happy beans. I don't think so. The South American striker's penalty. Most people are too concerned about their own rhythm changes when they help run. Bravo specializes in fancy rules. Facing Cristiano Ronaldo's type of Europe's top scorer, Bravo may not be able to save. What about Ter Stegen? Ter Stegen's hip muscles are strained. Ter Stegen is still very young, needs time and game to grind, and his save success rate is now the bottom of the top 5 league goalkeepers. Really fake? Really? Otherwise how could Barca have conceded so many goals in previous games? But Ter Stegen has a lot of potential. In the future, he will definitely become the door god of Barca's own side, courtside. Enrique was nervous. His hands trembled slightly. Watching the penalty on the other side is really a painful thing. The other side, Zidane's face was grim. As a player, he was Mr. Big Scene. There was a proverb back then, superstars would fall on the penalty spot. But Zidane broke the phrase. In his career as a player, in matches at the national team level, the penalty success rate is close to 100%. Even in the 2006 Champions League final, Zidane faces Buffon. A wonderful spoon penalty was kicked, shocked the world. On the pitch, Ronaldo and Bale had a brief exchange. It was decided who would take the penalty. Bale placed the ball at the 12-yard free throw point. Players on both sides stood outside the penalty area. Chutian also did not know Bale's penalty habits, and Real Madrid's main penalty taker has always been Ronaldo. He couldn't give Bravo a hint this time. This penalty created by Bale finally let Bale take the penalty. If this penalty is scored, the score between the two sides will return to the same running line. Bale's previous heat map of penalty shoots is also out. Previously, his penalty shooting percentage was 100%. Haha. This is a bit moisture. He has only taken 5 penalties at Real Madrid. There are statistics. Players from the British Isles, the penalty success rate is the lowest. Haha, Duan said blindly. How can it be that British Isle has the lowest shooting percentage in the world? Doghead, save your life. He should be talking about the European scope. Ha ha ha. Speaking of clubs alone, Manchester United and Norwich have the lowest penalty shooting percentages. Bravo stood on the doorline, stretching his limbs and jumping constantly. Bale's expression was calm, undisturbed. A dozen steps back, look at the goal. He took a deep breath. Start running. Everyone, hold your breath. Every step of Bale is like stepping on people's hearts. There is no change in rhythm, without any pauses, no small strike conversion. Bale didn't use any penalty technique that interfered with the goalkeeper's judgment. The running attitude is like facing a most normal long-range shot. Bravo stared dead at Bale's feet. Meantime, the Barca goalkeeper's body is also shaking. It was a habit he had before he saved the penalty. Without changing the center of gravity of the body, shake the upper body sharply to solidify the opponent's shooting direction. Bale came to the ball. Kicker. Swing your legs. Body tilt. Kick to football. Episode 183. The Great Sage's Tightening Curse. Ronaldo is on the scene. Bravo's pupils shrunk. The moment Bale touches the ball, he judged the direction of the knock. Jump in, pounce on the right side of the goal. Something magical happened. At the last moment of touching the ball, Bale changed it to rubbing. The football is provoked. Set off a beautiful parabola. Slow up, fly to the center of the goal. The trajectory of the run, like the shape of a spoon. Call, the ball hit the lower end of the beam. In the exclamation of all. Bounced into the goal. 2-2. Beautiful. It's a spoon penalty. Bale embodies the value of a superstar. He helped Real Madrid equalize. Both teams are back on the same running line. Extraordinary courage. Spoon penalty. Deceptively simple. It really requires strong footwork. Be very deceptive before you get up. No injuries to Bale. Too powerful. This spoon penalty action is too hidden. The requirements for the use of footwork are too high. Is Bale humiliating Bravo? This is not. The penalty fight is the psychology. The spoon penalty is the most difficult. It looks very simple. The arc and strength requirements are very high. You see, Bale almost kicked out of the crossbar. Especially at the moment of touching the ball, the footwork must change instantaneously. Look. Bale seems to be injured. The fish is here again, on the pitch. Bale did not cheer in celebration. Instead, he sat on the ground. The expression is painful. Cover your calves with your hands. Just changed the footwork in an instant. Pulled the muscle group of the calf. The Real Madrid players looked worried. Crowd up. Real Madrid fans in the stands are also worried. Bale's injuries are too frequent. Especially the flounder. Many people have only learned this term through the news of Bale's injury. Countless European media also referred to the flounder muscle as Bale's Achilles heel. Chutian can't help but be slightly moved. In his past life, Bale helped Real Madrid turn the tide many times, but unfortunately, he was still suffering from injuries and illness. Compared with other glass men in football history, Bale's career is quite long. He is arguably the longest-suffering superstar to fight injuries. Collapsed in the race many times, returned many times. After missing most of the season, he can also become a strong contender for the Golden Boot. Strong terrible. Even with injuries, Bale staged a return in the 2018 Champions League final to help Real Madrid lift the Champions League trophy. In the future, British experts have raised a question: why Bale, Eden Hazard, Courtois have never been injured in the environment of fierce physical confrontation in the Premier League, but have gone to other leagues, but are plagued by injuries. The referee immediately waved to the sidelines. The Real Madrid team doctor, who had been waiting for a long time, immediately rushed to the field. A moment later, the team doctor signaled that Bale had no way to continue playing. The stretcher team also ran up. Bale pounded the turf hard. It seems to be venting his dissatisfaction with the injury. Bale would love to keep playing. Unfortunately, the team doctor judged that his injury was too serious. Will his absence change the outcome of this game? It will also have a big impact on the later schedule. Especially the second leg of the Champions League semi-finals. Side. Enrique's expression was complex. Led twice, equalized twice. It's a tough Copa del Rey final. The other side. Zidane is full of sorrow. Bale's injury, if serious, will affect the second leg of the Champions League semi-finals. It is not known whether Bale will be able to continue to play. The Real Madrid manager immediately turned to Bettoni and said, "Let Isco warm up." Bettoni hurriedly said, "Isco is injured." didn't make it to the big list. Zidane slapped his head on the door. Sorry, Bettany, I forgot about it. Isco is the Real Madrid manager's favorite striker. He was hailed as the successor of Iniesta in the Matadors. And the current strength is very close to the Iniesta of his youth. Zidane sighed. Look at a lonely figure on the bench. Said, let J. Ronaldo warm up. Bet Tony was a little surprised. J. Ronaldo has been abandoned by Zidane for a long time, and this time it is also because of Isco's injury that Ronaldo has entered the big list. Bale was carried off the field on a stretcher. The Real Madrid fans in the stands stood up one after another to give the warmest applause to the hero of Real Madrid's goal. Injuries are like a tight curse, firmly tied Bell. A man in Real Madrid's number 10 shirt stood on the sidelines. The assistant referee held up the LED number plate. J. Ronaldo. Zidane actually let him play. After Zidane took charge of Real Madrid, J. Ronaldo played less than 4 times. Real Madrid's bench is deep enough. Watch the night. Why can J. Ronaldo wear the Real Madrid number 10 shirt? J. Ronaldo is very good. 2014 World Cup Golden Boot. 2014 Puskas will be the winner. During the Ancelotti era, J. Ronaldo was the core of Real Madrid's midfield. How to describe how strong he is, that is, in that tandem position between the front line and the midfield, he is the number 1 in the world. Every day so many worlds are the strongest in the world. Just blow it. Is it really that strong? Why didn't Zidane let him play the main force? Because J. Ronaldo is very systematic. His classical front waist. Very good at the ball, the whole team has to play around him. If you let him play as a winger, it will be okay, but the effect is greatly reduced. Zidane has done experiments. The race reopened in circles. Chutian received a return from Suarez. He did not hesitate to start combing through the midfield. In God's perspective, after J. Ronaldo's appearance, Real Madrid's formation was converted to 442. Real Madrid's midfielder immediately began to press. Pity. J. Ronaldo seems a little out of place. He walked equally unhurriedly and did not participate in a pressure. The pressure on Barca's players to pass and receive the ball is far less than before. The soccer ball is passed back and forth a few times in the midfield. Chutian began to speed up. He advanced with the ball, pull the ball and turn around. Avoided Casemiro's flying shovel. Before Modric approached, Chutian did not look up and sent out a delicate oblique pass. The ball is fast. Chutian is looking for Messi. The ball pressed against the turf and moved at high speed past Kroos's feet, precisely at the feet of the retreating Messi. Meanwhile, Chutian had already run to the ribs of the Real Madrid half. Behind him, Modric was in hot pursuit. Two genius midfielders who also have a God's perspective are like games and can guess each other's ideas. Messi sped up, changed direction, and passed Carvajal. Pepe blocked in front of him and fell to the ground to put the shovel. Messi flicked his left foot. The ball rolled to the feet of the incoming Iniesta. Meanwhile, inside less, Suarez starts immediately. Marcelo and Ramos vigilantly kept a close eye on the distance. Iniesta followed suit and made a direct pass to push the ball. Real Madrid's backline immediately retreated. He knocked the ball sideways to Chutian. The passing is very clever. Modric was now on Chutian's left side. The ball passed to Chutian's right. Chutian stepped on the ball, leaning back against Modric. Under the interference of Real Madrid's talented midfielder, he couldn't finish a precise kick. Make minor adjustments. The moment Modric got his foot out, a passing line appeared in Chutian's field of vision. The right foot of the ball is directly flicked with the ball. Avoided the destruction of Modric. Push the instep of your left foot. Football swirling violently, sticking to the turf. High-speed diagonal rolling. It's like a meteor trail, ripped through Real Madrid's entire backline. Beautiful, this time wonderful and fast defensive pass coordination. Finally found the flaws in Real Madrid. Chutian's passing is too hidden. His vision is too broad. Inside less. Is Uchiha going to knock on the door? Start early within less. Dashing stop on the left side of the Real Madrid penalty area. Ramos and Marcelo defended on one side. One side raises its hand to signal the other party to offside. The referee ignored it. Navas opens his hands. Take 2 steps to the left. Seal the shot angle inside the net. He's on the line. Real Madrid can't concede any more goals. In the nervous eyes of everyone, Iniesta looked at the far corner of the Real Madrid goal. Body towards the outside of the door. Navas made a judgment. Break through the gear. Less feet inside. Swing your leg slightly. Kick your foot in the soccer ball. Call. Boom. The soccer ball outlines a weird arc. The strong wind blowing from the banks of the Manzanares River makes the arc even more beautiful. The football hangs straight into the far corner of the Real Madrid goal. Beautiful. This kind of shooting inside less. How to kick it out. He's perfect for not running to borrow power. Swipe down plus A. The ball is not fast. But there was a lot of wind on the field. This arc is awesome. Why are you typing so fast? Navas color horror. Fly sideways now. It's late. Can't reach it. Time seems to freeze at this moment. All eyes are on the running line of football. When the football is about to cross the goal line, a bald figure in white appeared. Bigfoot unpacks the ball. Pepe, help the people in front of Pepe's door. Real Madrid's counterattack. is it coming? Modric and Chutian ran towards the landing point of the football at the same time. Ronaldo, before the two arrived, touched the ball. Episode 185. Manic Pepe. Bloody red card. Barca under the three centre-back system. Let the pressure of Real Madrid's midfield become meaningless. Especially under the premise that Ronaldo is not involved in oppression at all. Modric also had no way to take Chutian, because Barca's talented midfielders are also surrounded by Mascherano and Busquets to protect the reception. Chutian kept running, one foot touching the ball. Busquets also followed the formation and began to move forward to receive the pass. Barca fans in the stands began to cheer. The soccer ball is fast going back and forth at the foot of the red and blue jerseys. Chutian was like a conductor, and the team played a cheerful round dance. Tiki-taka on the Calderon Stadium. Real Madrid has started a real retreat to defend. Barca are crazy forward pressing. Real Madrid quickly retreated. Without Bale, there is one more Ronaldo, so that Real Madrid's counterattack speed and impact force do not pose much of a threat. Siege. A real siege. Barca formed a fan-faced multi-point attack, pressing Real Madrid into the big box. According to Serie A coach Conte, Barca's fan-shaped attack can be called a U-chain attack, mainly can reflect the layering of the attack. Through lateral passing, gradually crushed the opponent's backline. FC Bayern Munich. Guardiola turned off the TV. The assistant coach wondered, "Coach, Barca is still one goal behind, why don't you watch?" Pep Guardiola said, "Let's go to the conference room, inform the members of the coaching staff, we have to prepare how to deal with 442, with Isco and Cristiano Ronaldo as the core of the attack." The teaching assistant was a little surprised. Guardiola was unusually going to have a meeting? There were no tactical meetings for a few minutes before the first leg. He began to speculate, does the coach feel that the winner or loser is decided? Time passes by minute. Real Madrid completely lost possession of the ball. Every fatal pass of Chutian made Navas shudder. The lines are precise. The drop point is perfect, repeatedly threatening Real Madrid's goal. He's like a warrior with a sharp blade in his hand. Real Madrid's backline is like an angry bull, struggling to fend off an attack. Ramos and Pepe broke the siege several times. Unfortunately, even if the football does not go out of bounds, the second penalty is still easily stopped by Barca's players. Barca was terrible during this period. In a sense, it can be called the Peak Dream 4 team. Haha. Peak Dream 4. Nice name, that is, Bale went down, otherwise how could Barca play so easily? Unfortunately, this Peak Dream 4 game is out of time. Except for Chutian and Alba, Ter Stegen, everyone else is too old. The 44th minute of the game, Chutian's vision appeared in a brilliant passing line. After he received the ball, he turned to get rid of Modric. On the right side of the Real Madrid penalty area, sent a foot to the ground, straight plug. The football crossed the dense Real Madrid backline. Like a sharp knife, pierced through the Real Madrid restricted area. The blade points to the left side of the penalty area. Iniesta drilled out like a loach. Precise fatal pass. Iniesta stood up again. Can he help Barca equalize? The moment Iniesta got up and shot at goal, a bald figure in white rushed up. Pepe kicked the ball away. Moreover, no foot closure, kicked Iniesta his left foot. There was an uproar. Iniesta fell to the ground in pain. Pepe immediately opened his hand. Made an innocent expression. Oops. Pepe broke the siege and confiscated his feet. Don't be in trouble with Iniesta. And the second leg of the Champions League semi-finals, CTV5 Live Room, the big screen replays Pepe's unblocking, even in slow-motion shots. It can also be seen that Pepe's foot is extremely fast and fierce. I guessed that Pepe was going to make a move. The warrior skill has cooled down. Bitter Iniesta, is this intentional? The referee immediately ran forward. No yellow card shown. Players from both sides surrounded them. Suarez, the nearest one, went up for the first time and held Pepe with his head. Ramos pushed Suarez. All of a sudden, the scene was chaotic. The smell of gunpowder in the national derby began to pervade. Pepe looks innocent. Chutian felt helpless. La Liga has only been implementing VAR since the 18-19 season. The Real Madrid restricted area is too dense. The referee could not determine whether Pepe was intentional or not. From the dictation of the winger, Pepe kicked the ball first and then touched Iniesta's supporting foot. The Barca team doctor rushed to play. After some diagnosis, the stretcher team carried Iniesta down. The chaotic scene gradually subsided. Beep. Beep. The referee blew the whistle at the end of the first half. Sighed. Enrique was very anxious and quickly said to Winsu, "Let Rakitic play." Vincenzo explained, "Coach, the first half is over, there is no injury time." Enrique sighed. His mind was so confused that he didn't realize that the first half was over. The other side of Zidane is also sad. He is worried that Pepe will be retaliated against. That Real Madrid centre-back gap, he does not know who can fill it. The subsequent matches were critical. The first half ended in chaos. Chutian and his Barca teammates ran off the field at the first time, concerned about Iniesta's injury. Iniesta waved his hand and signaled, "I'm not in any serious trouble, just skin trauma." You must win the Copa del Rey, the crowd nodded, when Sue pulled the team doctor aside. The team doctor had a confused expression and whispered, "The situation is a little serious, at least a month of rest." 1 month, when Sue was so surprised that he did not control it for a moment and roared out. Only then did the Barca teammates understand what was going on. Hurt so badly? This means. In the following Champions League second leg, Iniesta could not play. Damn Pepe. Real Madrid dressing room. Zidane pulled Pepe aside, bitterly advised, "Pepe, your 2 clearances in the first half were outstanding. Now Varane is injured. Real Madrid centre-backs, apart from Ramos, only you can shoulder the responsibility of defense. On one's mind. You already have a yellow card on you now. Second. Must not eat cards again." Pepe nodded seriously. Zidane repeated the words, "can't eat cards," 3 more times. Only to put your mind at ease. Forthwith, he adjusted his expression. "Turn your head and clap your hands." Spirited, he shouted, "We played very well in the first half. In the second half, we should be more solid and defensive. Seize the opportunity to fight back. Another hour. The King's Cup will belong to us. Belongs to Real Madrid." J. Ronaldo. You have to remember. The starting point of our counterattack is Modric. The morale of the Real Madrid players was high and they responded. J. Luo perfunctorily agreed, and his expression faintly revealed a hint of displeasure. Modric thoughtful. The 15-minute break ended quickly. The second half begins. Rakitic took Iniesta's place. The referee blew the whistle. Barca kickoff. Suarez passed the ball back to Busquets. Plug forward immediately. Not a tactical need. Instead, he ran to Pepe and angrily spewed garbage talk. Barca's Shinfeng, after landing in La Liga, has converged a lot, so that fans once forgot his biting and 7 wounded fists deeds in the Dutch League and the Premier League. Pepe struggled to restrain at first, and Zidane's words kept ringing in his head. Don't eat cards again. Under the tandem of Chutian's attack, Barca once again pressed Real Madrid into the box. The siege was launched. Modric felt increasingly overwhelmed. At this time, the retreating Real Madrid formation was unable to steal the ball at Chutian's feet. The 48th minute of the game, the mutation is abrupt. Outside the big penalty area line on the left, Pepe, who was sprayed with garbage talk, slam your head into Suarez. Suarez was fast anyway. Instantly fall to the ground. Held in pain, there was a burst of boos in the stands. Barca fans angrily reprimanded Pepe. Beep, the referee stepped forward. Show a second yellow card to Pepe. Pull out the red card again. Oops. Red card. There is no controversy about this red card. Pepe crashed into Suarez, for no reason. Why is Pepe so irrational? I remember him being very cunning and witty. Suarez and Pepe have an old vendetta. Every time 2 people have a national derby, it is a martial fight. Overall, Suarez has the upper hand. Sighed. Enrique was furious too. Suarez is injured again. What about Barca? Zidane was also sluggish. He repeated to Pepe so many times at halftime not to eat cards. As a result, the cards were eaten in the first 3 minutes of the second half. The Barca players immediately surrounded Pepe. Real Madrid players rushed forward. The referee rushed to separate the players on both sides. Pepe looked disdainful and walked off the field. A moment later, before the team doctor came up, Suarez rubbed his chest, climbed up. Barca are still lagging behind. You can't delay it any longer. Episode 186, The Rout of Real Madrid. Chutian's strategy. Chutian stood in front of the penalty spot, the position of the free kick, just 20 meters from the Real Madrid goal. Navas stood in the far corner, vigilantly directing the human wall. Ramos and the others covered the heart position and the crotch of the pants. Eyes determined, Real Madrid is still in the lead. Just hold on to the remaining 3 to 10 minutes of the second half. You can win. Real Madrid play 1 less. The next game will be very difficult. Barca have always had an advantage over the scene. It depends on whether this free kick can equalize the score first. Zidane should be able to make a change. Casemiro can also play defenders. In other words, the defense is not almost the same. Ruby God of War card. Real Madrid, come on. Hold on. In my experience of playing millions of happy beans, there will usually be no goals in games with red cards. Hey, not necessarily. Barca is different. Fan attack. Press and hit. The disadvantage of Real Madrid's few people will be infinitely magnified. First look at Chutian's free kick. How to penalize. Sighed. Enrique tensed up and clenched his fists. When Sue was relieved, Coach, Chutian's current free kick shooting rate is 100%. Rest assured. The other side. Zidane's expression was dignified. Bettoni said, Coach, rest assured, Real Madrid has a way to deal with Chutian's free kicks, and the arc ball and Carlos-style powerful free kicks have adopted a different defensive approach to the human wall. Chutian looked in the direction of the goal. Start running. The stands of the Carmelen Stadium were suddenly quiet. In front of his eyes, a blonde back wearing the number 23 Real Madrid shirt suddenly appeared. The speed at which you run, faster and faster. The figures of the two gradually became more and more satisfied. Navas breathed a slight sigh of relief. Real Madrid human wall. Judging that Chutian is going to kick out the full moon, curved knife free kick. Ready, Real Madrid's coaching team, countless simulations, and analysis of Chutian's full moon, curved knife, found a cracking method. Use the combination of goalkeeper position selection and human wall running. Seal the inner corner. Beckham in the Real Madrid era, the full moon curved knife is not omnipotent. Messi observed for a moment and was ready to start. If Chutian's free kick was destroyed by the human wall, then he must catch the second drop point. Suarez is standing near the far corner, facing the goal. Always ready to reshoot. From God's perspective, in Chutian's field of vision, an incomparably brilliant one appeared. Colorful and brilliant routes, the arc is extremely exaggerated. Every step of the way, the greater the strength of the arch of the right foot. The lines are also getting brighter. Come to the penalty spot, the shadow of the number 23 Real Madrid shirt began to dissipate. Chutian's body leaned back. Swing your right leg. The left leg supports the foot, and with the power of the waist and abdomen, it starts to turn. Turn around, inner instep. One kick. Call. At this moment, everyone heard an extremely crisp sound. The moment the football jumps, the Real Madrid wall is moving. Football swirling violently, just when Ramos was about to destroy the ball. Football speeds up the ascent. Over the Carmellon Stadium, an incomparably beautiful arc has been set off. Straight to the goal. Time seems to stand still. Everyone held their breath. Ramos looked horrified, playing in the inner corner of the goal. Navas reacted. This one is an anti-arc. Jump up. Raise your hands. Towards the top right corner of the goal. Pounce on it. Real Madrid's super door god has learned the trajectory of the full moon curved knife in countless practice. Chutian's free kick. It's still a full moon curved knife. It's just that the arc is reversed. He still has to play the inside corner of the goal when Navas is about to reach football. The arc of the soccer ball changes again. A sharp fall, scratch under the armpit of Navas. Crashed into the Real Madrid goal. 3-3. Beautiful. This goal is in. It was wonderful. It's the full moon machete again. Chutian helped Barca. Equalized. Chutian's mastery of the arc ball. It's gotten to the point of being out of the blue. A true free kick guru in 100 shots. Chutian in La Liga, Champions League, Copa del Rey. Every free kick is so good. They can all break through each other's gates like crazy. Chutian's free kick scoring this season has surpassed Roma's Janik and Bayer Leverkusen's Zarhanoglu, although not as many free kick masters as the group of free kick masters of a few decades ago. But the victory is in simple and rude moves. Carlos' powerful free kick and Beckham's full moon machete are originally two branches. Free kicks from these two men. There are many ways to kick it. Say nothing. Chutian is awesome. 666, Super Goal War. Guess how many more goals you can score next? Navas looked helpless, a little skeptical about life. His save success rate this season is too low. In the first leg of the Champions League semi-finals, Bayern's Lewandowski scored 2 unreasonable goals. Today's Copa del Rey final, less than 60 minutes into the game, he conceded 3 goals to comfort him and then turned around and ran back to the center circle. Chutian didn't celebrate too much. Suarez picked up the football from the net and threw it to Chutian. The Barca players rushed back to the center. Now it's just the equalizer. Barca also have to expand their advantage. Real Madrid's ability to reverse at the end of the game is too fierce. If dragged into overtime, very bad for the later schedule. The race reopened in circles. Real Madrid's formation has changed. Zidane dragged Casemiro to the center-back position to stabilize the defense. The oppression and pressing of Real Madrid's midfield, completely without the horror of the first half, Ronaldo's weakness in the headwind, was also exposed. He has fewer contact points. Without the right to the ball, he could not play the characteristics of the classical front waist. Ronaldo received a pass from Modric. Observed, there is nothing good forward out of the goal. Even Marcelo and Carvajal both played up during this time period. He tried to carry the ball himself, to advance, didn't go forward. Busquets broke his foot easily. He then knocked sideways to Chutian, leaving a dazed Ronaldo. Oops. Ronaldo missed this goal very badly. Ronaldo's foot technology is delicate, and the transmission and controllability is very strong, but the speed is slow. Chutian received a pass, under the interference of Modric. Distribute the ball to Rakitic. Casemiro followed. Rakitic blocked Casemiro's view. Take a step sideways, leak the ball. Football rolls to the heart of Real Madrid. At the feet of Suarez, nice leaky ball. Rakitic played smart, directly let Chutian's long pass on the ground become a straight plug. Suarez tried to turn around with the ball. Ramos is tightly blocked. The two engaged in a physical confrontation. Suarez is not as tall as Ramos, but after coming to Barca, I have strengthened my training in strength. He's much stronger now than he was in Liverpool. Ramos doesn't take advantage of half the point. The two are slightly entangled. Chutian and Modric took over. Suarez immediately leaned back on Ramos. Pass the ball back to Chutian. The line of passing is very appropriate. It was on the left side of Chutian. Away from Modric on the right. Avoid Modric's first kick. Chutian immediately stepped sideways towards the football. A gorgeous passing line appeared in the field of vision. Don't stop the ball. Rub the instep of your left foot. Football rises off the ground. Pull out a meteor-like trail. The more you go to the left half of the Real Madrid hinterland, Marcelo was too late to defend himself. Casemiro is still near the middle circle. Ramos was still halfway down the course of Real Madrid's halftime. Real Madrid playing one less. I don't have the ability to keep up with the landing point of this pass. Inside less quietly starts. Lift your left foot on the run. Dashing to stop the ball. There is no way to slow down. Head straight to the Real Madrid restricted area. The Barca fans in the stands have cheered. Navas decisively chose to attack. As a goalkeeper, his speed is not slow. The two collide at the front of the great forbidden zone. Less speed inside a slow. Navas has blocked all his shooting angles. Players on both sides. All of a sudden, they all ran crazy to the Real Madrid restricted area. Inside less shoulders a sinking. Slam the ball gently with your right foot. Navas pounced decisively on the ball. Fake action. Between electric flint, Uchiha shows his incredibly gorgeous footwork. Shake the ball again with your left foot. The whole person just jumped. Get over the falling Navas. Face the empty door. 1. Before Ramos arrived, a poke inside less tiptoe. Football has penetrated the Real Madrid goal. 4-3. It's so dashing. This is the personal ability of the inner few. Attack organized by Chutian. Barca just finished 5 feet in midfield. I made this single knife. Intense competition. All the wonderful elements included. Red. Penalty kick. Kick. Single knife. Ney's little single knife, finally scored. The goalkeeper I faced before was too strong. It also helped Uchiha hone the experience of a single knife. This kind of top star competition, playing one less person, will be very passive. Chutian touched the ball twice. Just created this one knife opportunity. Got it. Episode 187. Reappears in a flash. Chutian's earth-shattering shot. In the stands, the red-blue flames boiled. Barca fans shouted wildly, Forca Barca, Vamos Barca. Any Shao rushed to Chutian for the first time. Jump high, hug vigorously. Barca teammates ran forward. We hugged each other too. Chutian's mood was slightly flat. Both he and Modric know that Real Madrid, who play one less, is inevitable to be scored by MSN. Side. Enrique looked incredulous. In a matter of minutes, the team went from trailing to flat. He needs a little time to soothe his emotions. The other side, Zidane's face was livid. He yelled at the field, attack. Offensive. Equalize. The race reopened in circles. Ronaldo's face was cold. Benzema kicks back to Cruz. Carvajal starts directly from the side road at high speed. Cruz launches the long pass directly. Real Madrid's opening is very concise, a little sudden. This kind of opening attack is rare in La Liga. It's more common in the Premier League. Carvajal chest stops the ball. Keep on the rush. Rush to the ribs of Barca's half. Pickup is approaching at high speed. Carvajal immediately split the ball to the left. The power of the pass is not great. The line is also very basic. To whom is this to be passed on? It's a bit redundant. Maybe Carvajal's physical strength has dropped too badly. Everyone thinks that Real Madrid's attack is going to be terminated. But Real Madrid number 7's no-ball run can make this ordinary pass reveal the killer. See Ronaldo, catch the ball, face Mascherano in front of you. See Ronaldo will take the ball once. Bell-styled raw food, beautiful. Who said C. Luo can't be superior? He's just not as fancy as he used to be. Amid the cheers of Real Madrid fans, Ronaldo took the ball 30 meters away from the goal. He has no teammates by his side. Real Madrid, who plays one less person, is stretched thin in attacking personnel. The Barca players quickly defended, no teammates, then solve the battle alone. Ronaldo will take the ball again. Breathe deeply. Adjust the pace. Kicker. Body tilt. Swing your legs. Call. The instep of the foot and the football burst out with an extreme explosion. Everyone was stunned. Super shooter. See, Ronaldo does not have a single shot shortcoming. His long-range shot also top-notch. The soccer ball roared. Spinning. Boom at the Barca goal. Bravo's expression is serious. Ronaldo's long-range shot is obvious, giving the Barca goalkeeper plenty of time to adjust. Real Madrid era C. Ronaldo has disdained to use any hidden shooting. Fake action is the confidence of super shooters. Bravo adjusts quickly. Jump sideways. Raise your right fist, near the top left corner of the goal. In the eyes of all. Call. The soccer ball crashes into the Barca goalkeeper's boxing case. Momentum sinks. Change direction. A flat soccer ball bounced on the beam. Enrique's pupils are slightly dilated. Pop out. Zidane pupil miniaturization. Bounce into the door line. The two seem to be engaged in an air fight. Clench your fists and keep shaking. Ultimately, the direction in which the ball pops up is the sky at the Calderon Stadium. It's a corner. Nice long shot. Wonderful blocking, worthy of being a peerless double pride. See, Ronaldo is awesome, look at the replay. See, Ronaldo's no-ball running is a real cow. Adversity depends on C. Luo. The desperate situation depends on the watermaster, Real Madrid, even if there is one less. Won't give up either. Is it so easy to say reversal? Barca must win. C. Luo shook his head. Walk quickly to the Barca penalty area. There is still a chance. Real Madrid's set pieces are very strong. Sighed. Enrique breathed a sigh of relief, still nervous for a moment. Real Madrid's corner kick scoring rate is very high. This is thanks to several highs in their team. Key Ramos and Cristiano Ronaldo are both finishers who are good at header scoring. Zidane pounded the turf. The game came to the second half. Everyone's emotions are amplified. Real Madrid fans and Barca fans have also begun to spray each other. The whole Carlin Stadium, a hustle and bustle. Modric sent out a corner. The trajectory of the football is decent. Didn't look for a back point. Spin violently, straight down to the Barca penalty area. See, Ronaldo and Ramos jump at the same time. The double ghost slaps the door. Barca is in danger. Bang. Bravo is like a god under the heavens, in the middle of Real Madrid's two highs. Punch the ball out. Football out of the box. Come to the feet of Rakitic. Both players run quickly. Neymar, Suarez, Messi quickly, frantically stepped forward. Marcelo and Carvajal, Cruz went on a wild chase. One after the other. Keep an eye on MSN. Rakitic did not hesitate, before Casemiro came out of his feet. Push the ball forward with force. Ouch. This ball is beautiful. Real Madrid has one less high contact point. Barca's counterattack start was so comfortable, Casemiro shouldn't have come forward. He's still better suited to be a back. Hey! This ball is not looking for MSN, it's looking for Chutian. Chutian's current speed is 90, which is not very fast compared to the fast horses in the top giants, but with the help of God's perspective, already launched. Modric, who has just finished a corner, there is no way. Chutian is in the middle circle position. Heel up. Let Rakitic's long biography of the straight plug turned into a rainbow pass. Beautiful. Heel, stop. What an operation. Chutian made the straight plug into a rainbow. The fans in the stands let out an exclamation of amazement. The soccer ball flew from behind to the front. Chutian's forehead was a little. The football landed. Keep on the rush. The speed did not decrease by half a minute. He also doesn't know why he made this stoppage. Probably because, a flash of inspiration? Cross hesitated, just with Carvajal and Marcelo heading towards Chutian bow. Real Madrid's three generals are out of place. Chutian can pass the ball. Pass directly to MSN. I can't pass it on. Over the middle circle. A direct pass is considered offside. Xavi and He began to be a little incoherent. Let me explain. Now Barca are playing 4-3. If Rakitic passes the ball directly from the back and MSN starts kicking off after the mid-lap half, it doesn't count as offside. The situation now is that Cruz, Marcelo, and Carvajal are all wrapped up in Chutian. MSN overheads because of inertia. Chutian if the next few seconds. Pass the ball forward. It's offside, Mater. I still don't understand. I know it's enough not to pass. Barca's attacking opportunity this time is wasted. Even if Chutian made any move to get rid of it, it's enough for the rest of Real Madrid's players to defend in place. Why are you typing so fast? Faster than voice input. Chutian high-speed advancement. Cross, Marcelo, Carvajal, formed a three-sided wall that was airtight. The bag is clipped over, behind, Casemiro. Modric. Also crazy chase. No time to make any action to get rid of. Everything to get rid of the action. All will waste this opportunity to fight back. In a flash, Chutian's vision, a glittering line appeared. The end of the line, it's the Real Madrid goal. At this time, he is 50 meters from the Real Madrid goal. In my mind, I suddenly received a flash of inspiration triggering prompt. In God's perspective, Real Madrid goalkeeper Navas is very far ahead. I'm about to step out of the big forbidden zone. No hesitation, Chutian slowed down. The action of the three Real Madrid players also suddenly stagnated. In a flash, everyone's face showed an unbelievable expression. Does Chutian want to? He's going to hang the door directly. How could it be? His position is 50 meters from the goal. Just over 4.5 midlap. Batistuta can't shoot that far. Chutian made an extremely exaggerated leg swing. Lean forward, tight footing. Football is like a cannonball. Rub crossface, straight up. Cruz was stunned. He only saw a dark shadow streaking across his eyes. Oops. Is it a strong hanging door? On the pitch, it's windy, gale on the banks of the Manzanares River. Soccer in the air. It doesn't make any difference. Start falling. Armed with a fierce momentum, fierce, overbearing, overwhelming. Crash into the Real Madrid goal. It's like myths and legends. The meteor that shattered the armies of Hirassari. Enrique looked sluggish. Zidane sat involuntarily on the turf. Chutian and Hue also failed to react, staring at the screen in a daze. Navas looked horrified. Crazy back. But he is fast. No ball fast. Call. The football finally smashed into the goal line of Real Madrid. Navas flies to the rescue. Hold the ball. Cropping gestures. The ball has been scored. 5-3, episode 188, belongs to the super moment of the Yenwa people. Copa del Rey champion, quiet for all. After a few seconds of silence, the roar of a landslide eruption from the entire Carmelen Stadium. Even many Real Madrid fans applauded the incredible goals here, just like the little Luo of the Bernabeu. Chutian and Hue also reacted. Pretty, it's incredible, shocked to the sky. This goal. Armed with the Batistuta heavy gun. It also has the gentleness of a shell-like arc. It's more exciting than Beckham's halftime hanging shot that year. It's much harder than how this kicked out. It was a goal that would go down in the annals of world football. It was a super moment. A super moment that belongs to the people of Yenwa. CTV5 live room. The big screen kept playing back the goal. A flying fire meteor. Scratch the sky. How did this kick out? It was shocking. Am I watching a cartoon? This must be the plot of Soccer Boy, right? Chutian. 666. Handsome. Zidane is dumbfounded. If I were Modric, the heart of the road would be shattered on the spot. I thought that Chutian and Modric were the two midfield masters of the new generation, but now it is still different. Chutian is a hanging ratio. Chutian standing in the middle circle. The back of the head is slightly tingling. Even he himself didn't know how the super hanging shot was kicked. The moment he touched the ball, it seemed that the backs of two people appeared at the same time. A long-haired god of war in a purple lily jersey. A young Beckham in a Red Devils Manchester United shirt. It was as if they had touched the ball at the same time at that moment. This is the goal that locks in the win. Let the Barca players, staff, coaching staff, celebrate. Enrique looked excitedly at the silver trophy in the distance. Irrepressible excitement. Zidane stood up, his face shocked. He thought that Chutian's super hanging shot. The difficulty factor is very high. Bet Tony comforted. Coach, there is still time. We've been here this season. Completed many kills to flip the. Zidane shook his head. Yenwa boy, won't give us time. He had seen the video recordings of many of Chutian's matches. Know the habits of the Yenwa teenagers after leading by 2 goals. The Navas face is like dead ash. Chutian made him suspicious of football. The most accomplished Real Madrid goalkeeper in recent years in the Champions League showed a blank look. Modric's expression was calm. Pick up the soccer ball from his arms. Run back to midfield. Maybe. After Bell retired injured, after Pepe left, Real Madrid lost the strength to fight against this Barca. The contest between the top giants, without an important role, will be in adversity. And Chutian, what he is best at is to use the pass control to let the opponent fall into a deeper quagmire and reopen the circle. Enrique made a second substitution. Matthew replaced Alba. A true 3 centre-back system has been formed, followed by, the assistant referee held up the LED number plate again. Roberto replaced Alves. The intention of these 2 substitutions is obvious. Matthew's air defense is strong. It's a targeted substitution adjustment. Alves is old. He played fullback in the first half, and the physical exertion of running back and forth was very large. Roberto replaced him, just right. It's Matthew again. How do I feel a little hanging? Haha. When Matthew was not taken off the meniscus, he was very powerful. It shouldn't be a big problem. Meniscus? I'm Chow. He was so badly injured. Real Madrid pressed forward like crazy. Benzema relayed Cruz. Cruz split off Marcelo. Marcelo failed to beat Mascherano this time. The ball was cleanly shoveled. Came to the feet of Busquets. Chutian made a downward pressure gesture. Indications can slow down the pace. That's it. Chutian played out of the stream at Barca's midfield. Bravo also ran out of the penalty area. Start as an important medium for passing and receiving the ball. Real Madrid playing one less. Simply powerless to rush. Bravo's response is like letting Real Madrid play 9 and 12. Today's peak looks particularly energetic. He shouldn't have made a mistake by stopping the ball. See Bravo run out of the box. Enrique's face turned the color of pig's liver. Haha, Zidane is also a little confused. The strongest 3 centre-back passing control system is coming. How to grab the ball with one less Real Madrid. Grab it and foul it. Ronaldo's attitude on the defensive end is too negative. He's great in the national team, of course. Ronaldo is at the heart of the national team. The whole team kicked around him. Every player in Real Madrid is so strong individually. Isn't it upside down to kick around him? Self-destructing martial arts? Minute by minute of the game passed. Chutian took control of the game. The football passes smoothly in the Barca midfield. Modric pressed back and forth. It didn't work. Casemiro couldn't take it anymore. He came from a defensive position. Rush to the middle of the road. Join the rush. Messi also retreated to the middle road. It's like a match. Barca's midfield cooperation is becoming more and more tacit. Match time. In this way, it was consumed by Chutian. He is well aware of the horrors of Real Madrid in the last moments, and did not give each other any chance. If Bale had not been injured, Pepe would not have been sent off. The end of this Copa del Rey final will not be so easy. Injury time ends. Beep. Beep. The referee blew the whistle at the end of the game. No miracles happen. Real Madrid failed to stage another reversal. Barca's passing control has created a solid defense line like a river. At the end of the game, the possession rate reached 100%. The Real Madrid player sat on the ground in frustration. Zidane turned and walked back to the players' tunnel. Bettoni quickly pulled him aside. Coach, there's also the award ceremony. You can't be absent. Zidane was embarrassed. As the manager of Real Madrid, he could not refuse this kind of ceremony with some shameful nature. The awarder was the king of the Matador country. Enrique leads the bench players, club staff, coaching staff, team doctors. Rush on the field like crazy. This is Barca in 2016, the first championship trophy. Tonight belongs to Barca. Barca are the Copa del Rey winners. The whole game is over. Congratulations Barca. Congratulations Chutian. This national derby. All the elements are included. Ups and downs, both teams completed the lead and then reversed. Kicked a very rare big score result. Chutian. 2 shots and 3 passes. Won the best MVP player of the game. He has once again made the history of Yenwa players in the 5 major leagues in Europe. He helped Barca and is about to win everything. Next round of La Liga, if wins. Then Barca will be 6 games early. Become the La Liga champion this season. We couldn't have hoped he would win a Champions League trophy. A Champions League trophy that truly belongs to the players of Yenwa. Xavi and Hiwei's tone was extremely excited. Didn't Don get the Champions League trophy as a substitute? You'll say substitute. He didn't even play. Xavi said the true meaning of the Champions League trophy. I think it's difficult. This Champions League champions, the gold content is the highest, right? From the round of 16, every team Barca has faced has been so strong. And, now Iniesta is injured. La Liga staff enter. The award ceremony began. In the very center, the small stand is full of the royal family of the bullfighter country. King Felipe VI, holding 2 little princesses of 5 or 6 years old, stood in the highest position. In front of him, the King's Cup trophy was erected. Passionate Matador tunes play. The referee team led the stage. Received a medal of fairness. Chutian and his teammates, as the victors, stood in 2 rows. Shake hands with the Real Madrid players. As the losing party, or so to speak, runner-up, Zidane led the Real Madrid players to the stands. Received a silver medal from the king. At last, Enrique led the Barca players to the stands. The audience erupted in thunderous applause. Felipe VI graciously presented the Barca players with a golden medal symbolizing the title. When it was Chutian's turn, the king of the Matador country shook his hand excitedly. Medals have been distributed. Iniesta was on crutches, surrounded by teammates. He pulled Chutian's hand and pressed it on the trophy. It doesn't just belong to Barca. It's your own champion too. To the cheers of all, raised the trophy. Bang. Call over the entire Carmelen Stadium. Brilliant fireworks have been lit. Tonight belongs to Barca. Copa del Rey champion, episode 189, award ceremony. The favor of the Princess of Moco. After the ceremony, Chutian returned to the hotel with his Barca teammates. As a Copa del Rey champion, they also have to stay in Madrid for 1 night, because the next night, all the members of Barca will be summoned by the royal family of the bullfighter country. Sports director Roberto also came to Madrid. In the lobby of the hotel, greet the triumph of the Barcelona generals. Chutian realized that the significance of the King's Cup was so important. Roberto began to chatter. Tomorrow after receiving the King's summons, we must hurry back to Barcelona. The club is ready for the ceremony of visiting the city. That's right. Tomorrow we go to the palace. Be sure to pay attention to etiquette. Chutian was not cold. He is a Yenwa native. I am not interested in the royal family of other countries or anything. MSN's attitude is similar. Uchiha muttered, it's hard to play the King's Cup and have 2 days off. The ceremony took up the day. Suarez smiled and said, you just can't go to a nightclub in Madrid. Messi pointed to the countless reporters and fans who were blocked by security outside, and helplessly said, we are already surrounded. Vinzo clapped his hands. Guys, split the room. Barca are in the Copa del Rey this time. In addition to the players, coaching staff, team doctors, plus the staff, 46 people were provided. Chutian was just the extra one. He lives alone in a room, or the presidential suite. This hotel on the banks of the Mansalos River is very old. Chutian walked into the room and felt as if he had returned to the Middle Ages. Shut the door. The system's prompt sound quietly sounds. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the mission. Copa del Rey champion. Rewards are being issued. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the mysterious chest ×1. Mysterious chest? Chutian was preparing to open. Call. Someone was knocking on the door. Not a lot of force. Who would bother themselves so late? Chutian thought about it. It should be Niseo or Roberto. These two young people in the Barca squad, every time they go to the road, they will bring a variety of handhelds and game consoles as well as game books, especially when Dennis Jr. had not yet been loaned to Villarreal. The three of them always pulled Chutian together to play games. This made Chutian, who was not very interested in the game, and the game talent of the Yen people in his body was also awakened. Chutian opened the door and took a look. Is a tall, beautiful brown-haired girl, Sarah Sampaio, Bugatti advertising period partner, supermodel angel. She wore a times evening gown tonight. In his left hand is a bottle of wine. In his right hand are two wine glasses. Unspeakable charm. Chutian, according to the words of the East, we are fate. Didn't expect to meet you here. I just saw your back in the hallway. Sarah Sampaio looked into Chutian's eyes, full of aggression. She licked her lips. I think we should have a drink to celebrate that you helped Barca lift the Copa del Rey. Chutian's expression was calm, but the heart is a little inexplicable. How can a female supermodel of a grape country appear in a hotel on the outskirts of Madrid? He just wanted to talk. Call. At the end of the corridor came the voices of Roberto and Bravo. They seemed to be chasing a small animal. You, a dead paparazzi reporter, blend in with Barca's hotel to sneak a picture. Hand over the camera. You're so lucky. Met me Bravo. Roberto, you hold him. Hey. Brother Bravo, don't move so much. I have called out to the security guards. Chutian was slightly stunned. Are they catching paparazzi? It turns out that the sports lace news in the past life is true. He returned to God. Sarah Sampaio was already sitting in a chair in the room. With an innocent face, she said, if I go out now, it will definitely be photographed. Will cause you negative press. Chutian was helpless. Don't you want a drink? There must be a decanter under the cupboard. Although this hotel is not big, it really has everything you need. I suggest you take a shower first, although you must have done it once in the dressing room at the Calderon Stadium. It's respect for the lady. Sarah Sampaio began to talk to himself. 2 glasses of wine into the throat. Chutian narrowed his mind. I found that there seemed to be something wrong with the wine. The figure of the girl in front of her began to blur. Sarah Sampaio turned up the volume of the TV. Good evening to the audience. Welcome to this international friendly match. Yenhua team versus Grape national women's football team. I'm the commentator for this game doors. Heck, the Grape nation's women's soccer team started with a very fierce attack. The Yenhua players are like they are drunk. Not a defensive posture at all. Men's football can't play women's football. Isn't that a shame? The Grape women's football team is getting fiercer. The Yen national team's backline is getting stronger and stronger. It's solid, beautiful. The Yenhua team began to counterattack and attack. Is Grapevine also playing match fixing? How there is no defensive attitude. The Yenhua team is frantically besieging the goal of the Grape country. The narrator's voice suddenly disappeared. It was as if he had been thrown out of the football field. The goalkeeper of the Grape country, smashed by the football, covered in blood. The Yenhua players looked very surprised. It rained heavily in the sky. A monstrous flood ensued. Yenhua team and Grape country, on this night, played several international friendlies. Next evening, Chutian changed into a suit. Follow your Barca teammates to the Palacio de Matadors, alias Royal Palace of Madrid. It is not far from the hotel. The Royal Palace is on a hill on the left bank of the Mansalos River. Robert introduced. The Royal Palace of Madrid is the 3rd largest royal palace in Europe. Now a museum, of course. Bravo wondered, where does the king live? Robert laughed and said, live in the Sasuela Palace on the outskirts of the city. Only when a major ceremonial event is held, will you return to the palace. As the oldest royal family today, the royal wealth of the bullfighter country has long been squandered by previous kings. The life of the current King Felipe VI was simple, just like the ordinary rich people in Europe. 20 minutes later, the crowd came to the Royal Palace of Madrid. The royal family prepared a grand welcome ceremony. Chutian felt as if he had returned to the Middle Ages. Walked through the corridor with 9 turns and 18 turns. The crowd came to a halt. Chutian couldn't help but wonder, why are there so many people? Iniesta adjusted the position of his crutch and whispered, not only the royal family of the bullfighter country, but also the royal family of the country of Mozambique, the royal family of the country of Oreo. You know, marriages between European royalty are very frequent, and they are all distant relatives. After the tedious ceremony, King Felipe VI delivered a congratulatory speech. It took about 30 minutes. The crowd began to eat. Tonight Enrique sat next to the king in a straight suit like a nobleman who kept talking to the king. He is not Catalan, he was born on the south shore of Biscay Bay, and is an authentic bullfighter countryman. Chutian and his teammates sat at the end of the bench. A series of exquisite dishes were served. Bravo spat out, pointed to a small plate, and whispered, is this enough to eat? I took one bite and was gone. The crowd laughed. I thought the ceremony would end after eating. Then so hurriedly stopped the crowd. And a cocktail party. Except for the wounded who can't drink. All are to participate. The Barca players looked helpless. Messi wondered, how come the previous King's Cup didn't have such a grand ceremony? When Sue whispered, this year is different. It just so happens to be the anniversary of which king how much. The Barca players only think that this ceremony is more tiring than playing for Real Madrid. The reception was also very grandly arranged. Countless celebrities and nobles stepped forward and talked to Chutian. Chutian's expression was flat, and he simply responded up and down. He untied his tie and was already trying very hard to follow the customs. As a Yenghua person, he had no interest in European royalty at all. Just maintain basic social etiquette. It's not going to be as condescending as sports director Robert is. Chutian, hello, I really like to watch you play. Another opening sentence that has been repeated countless times. Chutian turned and nodded, responding simply. Roberto next to him opened his eyes wide and whispered, hey, hey. Chutian. This is the Princess of Mozambia, and I forgot her name. Chutian had no interest in understanding. The Princess of Magua in front of her was very enthusiastic. She kept looking for topics. Chutian responded with a ride without a ride. Episode 190, League Champion. La Liga Double Champion. The Princess of Magua in front of me is very beautiful. Vaguely exudes a kind of noble atmosphere, condensed by pampering and excellence. If the temperament of Sarah Sampaio is a beautiful porcelain bottle, the Princess of Nama is a brilliant and restrained jade. Chutian was not too cold. He was not interested in European royalty. Crusaders is not less to play, and the European royal family is a bunch of fools. Chutian, welcome to the country of Mozambia in the future. The royal family of Magua is very welcome to the people of Yenghua. The Princess of Magua actually talked about Chinese, a fluent Chinese. It shocked Chutian and Roberto for a while. Roberto said, do you remember the Grammator Conference Center? I withdrew first. Chutian suddenly realized. The exhibition at the Grimadel Convention Center is full of Yenghua fakes of antique porcelain. The royal family of the country of Magua was very fond of the culture of Yenghua, and even sent the 1,000-year-old throne to Yenghua. This Magua princess can say Chinese, and it is likely that she was influenced by this aspect. Thank you. Chutian responded politely, but he had just not remembered the name of the princess of the Emo kingdom. Do you have Chinese name? Princess Magua covered her mouth and smiled. Not yet. I can repeat the name, Caroline Kashiraj. The two began to walk out of the large balcony of the banquet hall and began to make small talk. The Princess of Magua is not only fluent Chinese, I also have a deep understanding of Yenghua culture. She had been to Yenghua several times. I can also say a few words of whispers. Let Chutian open his eyes. He sighed, Princess Charlatan, thank you. I haven't had a face-to-face conversation with Chinese for a while. The Princess of Magua smiled softly and said, then you have to invite me to watch the Champions League final. Chutian was slightly stunned. Well, if we break into the final of the Champions League, there is a second leg in the semi-finals. Countless people believe that there is no suspense in Barca's promotion to the final. 20 minutes later, the Barca players took a group photo with King Felipe VI. This tedious summoning ceremony was finally over. Barca teammates can't wait to leave the ballroom. Princess Magua and Chutian left a contact information for each other and waved goodbye. Step out of the palace. Hop on the club bus. Nei Xiao and Roberto hurriedly gave Chutian a thumbs up. Teach us quickly, Chutian, why can you get the favor of a royal princess? Princess Charlotte is still a master equestrian. She's also the face of Gucci equestrianism. She is the fourth in line to the throne of the Kingdom of Morocco. Chutian smiled helplessly and did not continue to talk. That's it. Barca held the Copa del Rey trophy and left Madrid. After a few hours of sailing, Chutian finally returned to the first team dormitory. The first thing he did was to open the mysterious treasure chest. Ding. Mysterious chest open. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining Ronaldinho Dream Right Foot Module. Little Luo Dream Right Foot? The back of Chutian's head was slightly numb. All the trick information instantly merges with the body. In the mind, a picture flashed. Deeply trapped in the siege of Chelsea, Ronaldo stood where he was, without help. Twist your waist and swing your legs to shoot. Boom, a world wave, called a classic by the European media that cannot be reproduced. Miracle shots. All professional players can experience that they do not help running in place. Kick that high-quality long-range shot in the encirclement. It's simply not possible. Years later, Xiao Luo enjoyed the retirement life and also thought that this leg swing shot was the most beautiful goal of his career. Time flies. Chutian still insisted on training every day. Accumulated a lot of freely assigned attribute points. There really aren't more attribute assignment options, and he added defense and steals to 90. Now yourself. It is also closer to the Hexagon Warrior. The days are a little calmer. Accompanied by Mino Loyola, he made a trip to the city of London and, with the money he earned from advertising endorsements, bought 2 mansions, one in the city centre and one on the outskirts of West London. Elsa occasionally comes to the first team quarters. The fierce international friendly matches between the Candy Country and the Yen national teams are frequently played. The fighting power of the Candy Country is also getting stronger and stronger. The flood is terrible. The volume of the stadium radio was also louder and louder at a time. To save some trouble, Chutian had to go in and out of the Star Hotel. Let the media paparazzi on this news material Have been generated information fatigue. Sarah Sampaio's information and telephone is also increasingly crazy. Repeatedly invited Chutian. Play a few more friendly matches. Chutian resolutely refused. The Madrid hotel thing, the lesson is too profound. He didn't want to drink that strange wine and affect his body. And the Princess of Mozambique. Of course, she was just chatting with Chutian about the culture of the Yen country. And during these days she talked about an ancient masterpiece. The protagonist seems to be called Don Menching. La Liga round 33. Barca play at home to Espanyol. The middle circle of the Camp Nou stadium. The La Liga Champions trophy has been placed. As long as Barca win, you can advance 5 rounds and become a La Liga champion in the 15-16 season. Espanyol succeeds in relegation, and the players are menacing, vowing to block Barca's way to victory. But the game doesn't have much suspense. The opening 3rd minute of the match, Chutian was at the front of the forbidden area and vigorously blasted out a world wave. Help Barca open the record. 1-0. Camp Nou cheered. Barca fans shouted the name of the Yenhua genius with a rusty Chinese. Chutian, Chutian, Chutian. The 18th minute of the game, Chutian sent a long pass in the middle circle. Football crossed the entire half. Inside, less high-speed start to catch the ball, easily get rid of the Spaniards' defender and kick the ball in. 2-0. The 24th minute of the game, Chutian was in the abdomen and sent out a precise direct thrust. Suarez stepped forward to receive the ball. A blast. 3-0. The 29th minute of the game, Chutian and Messi made a dazzling transmission cooperation. At last, Messi fired a shot that broke through the Spaniards' gate. 4-0. There is no suspense in the game. Barca are not finished in the first half. The championship has been locked. In order to cope with the upcoming second leg of the Champions League semi-finals, Enrique used up 3 substitutions in a hurry. Replace MSN. Next game, it is the stage where Chutian and Rakitic perform. Ultimately, the score is fixed at 7 o'clock. The referee blew the whistle at the end of the game. Barcelona won the La Liga title. Camp Nou fans, excited. East stand. Suddenly, a huge mosaic portrait of Chutian was revealed. The Barca fans in the stands on the other side raised their alphabet cards. There are also many fans with red eyes. Facing Chutian's back, he cried. Messi patted Chutian's shoulder. All the Barca fans, they don't want you to leave Barca. Chutian shook his head. Iniesta on crutches urged, Chutian, be the first to lift the La Liga championship trophy. It should be you. Without you, Barca would have had a tough season. Let's go. Pick up that trophy. The coaching staff and all the Barca teammates, the staff, had no opinion. In the applause of the crowd, Chutian stepped forward. Lift the La Liga trophy aloft. The passionate Barca team song also played at this moment. Barca players rushed forward. Chutian's arrival. Get Barca through the toughest period of reform. It's not just a La Liga title for Barca. This is also the La Liga champion, belonging to Chutian. He made the history of Yenhua players. He is the pride of Yenhua football. In front of him, only one Champions League trophy remains. Xavi was extremely excited. After landing in La Liga, Chutian helped Barca win the European Super Cup, La Liga Copa del Rey and La Liga Championship step by step. Time flies so fast. In the blink of an eye, Chutian won the La Liga Championship, that La Liga Golden Boot and the best player. When will the Di Stefano Award be given to Chutian? Barca won the championship early. There are still 5 rounds left in La Liga. All races over. Will count goals and assists. The Di Stefano Awards certainly can't run. It must be Chutian. As for the La Liga Golden Boot, just look at the next 5 rounds of competition. Chutian is willing to brush the data. C. Luo chased close. Messi and Suarez have also scored a lot. What is the Di Stefano Award? An award named after a legendary Real Madrid scorer to recognize the best players in La Liga. It is the highest personal honor for a La Liga player. I checked, the past 3 sessions have been C. Ronaldo Awards. Or Marca newspaper. Rest assured, Messi also won 2 times. The judging group also has Barca people, nothing insider. Next, it's the second leg of the Champions League semi-finals.